Welcome to the Bodybuilding Banter podcast, your number one source of all things bodybuilding. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on future episodes. Now, here's your host, Leroy Rollins.
All right, people, welcome to the Bodybuilding Banter podcast. I have a very special guest, the first lady making an appearance on the podcast. 50 plus episodes later, and we finally have a female to give some insight. So, welcome, Meggy Martin-Johnson, fellow Canadian competitors, competed in a few competitions now, done a little something on the Canadian scene. So, welcome, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. For the people that might not know you, which probably isn't many because this is a pretty local podcast, but introduce yourself and tell them what you're all about.
Okay, so I'm Maggie. I basically just got into the competing world this year, but I've been training training seriously for probably 8 years.
Yep.
And then just the random gym goer for a while before that. I first got into the gym when I was a lifeguard in high school, and
Okay.
I worked at the YMCA,
Right.
and so I had a free membership to the YMCA because of that. And I'd go after school because it was right by my school, but my shift didn't start until 7. So I'm I guess I'll waste my time in the gym.
Yeah, might as well.
And then it turns out I really liked it. But yeah, and then now here I am. So one of my friends from when I was in university, he would compete all the time, or he used to, I guess. And then he would always tell me, you should do this, you should try it. And I was like, no, I'm not showing my butt to a whole audience of people. Eventually he did convince me. And then he actually coached me into my first show.
Oh, cool.
Which was Coburg, which we did together.
Yeah.
I did, okay there. I was, at that point, I didn't have any idea what to expect. I was just let's do it. Let's just see what happens. I didn't even care if I won. I would have liked to place, and I got 5th place, which is, fine. But, I won novice.
Was your
so,
class
I
big?
got a crown, but...
Was your class big in Coburg?
Pardon?
Was your class big in Coburg?
Yeah, it was, it was a decent amount. There was, I want to say around 20 people.
Yeah.
Maybe just under that, but it was a good amount of people. There was multiple call-outs, obviously, so that was actually my largest show I've competed at, but it was the worst package I brought, so I can't say what the reason was for my placing.
Yeah.
But after that, me and that coach just didn't continue, and I actually met Tyler who's my current coach.
Yeah.
While I was prepping. Well, okay, I've known him because we went to the same university, but I didn't really talk to him about competing at all until I was maybe 5 weeks out of Coburg. And then basically right after I was done Coburg, he did my whole reverse. And then it's do you ever get that mindset where you're done a show and you're oh God, I'm done, this is so nice. And then 2 weeks later you're let's do it again.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so ready.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, so right after I'm because I thought I was done. I was I'm gonna get fat, I'm gonna relax.
Yeah.
But then 2 weeks later I'm no, let's choose a new show. I'm ready to do this again.
Cool.
So then me and Tyler picked the Can Fit Pro show, which was in the middle of August.
Yep.
So Coburg was in April. So I had a couple months to kind of reverse out and then diet back down. But we really needed to put on a little more muscle mass. So I couldn't just maintain into it because I was still a little shrimp. There wasn't a lot there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we came back up and then we dieted back down again around probably 12 weeks. But it was it wasn't that strenuous until about 2 or 3 weeks out, and that's when I was really feeling it. But I decided that Can Fit was a natural show.
Yep.
But then I'm I might as well see how I can measure up in an open show too, since I'm dieting anyways. There is the Legends Cup, which is an open show the very next weekend. So I'm like, I might as well just do that one too.
Yep.
I can handle it for another week. So yeah, I was technically dieting for both of them at the same time, which was like, it wasn't the best to peak 2 times in a row, but like it was doable.
Yeah.
So at CanFit, I got first in my class, but I didn't win the overalls.
Yep.
And like this girl Ali won, and she looked really good. It's funny because I told her at the show, she was the first person the first bikini girl I ever saw on stage, because I had gone to my friend's show like before I ever started competing, and I saw her compete, and I'm like,
okay.
well, like she looks really good.
That's cool.
And then I got to compete against her, so but she beat me. But I looked at the photo of the back picture, like of all the girls like competing for the overall with like in the back pose. Her hamstrings overpowered me like completely, and I'm like, okay, that is what I need to work on. Like that is my point. Like I need to like target that very like, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm like trying to hit my like posterior chain like crazy all the time right now, so that I don't have that weak point in the coming year.
100%.
But so I just won my class in that one, and then I'm like, I'll still go for it, whatever, for Legends Cup. So actually, what Tyler has told me is that like he didn't get me to the leanest possible point for the natural show that I could have been at, because he knew that I would have, like, if I got down to that very, very lean point, it would be really hard to maintain that. Yeah, whereas, like, if I'm in an open show, it's a lot, like, you kind of have to be leaner because there's more variables that play with the other competitors like I have to contend with.
Sure.
So, so he says that if I was as lean at CanFit as I was at Legends, maybe I could have done better, but who knows?
Yep.
And then at Legends, I won the overall, which is really great. Like, I did not expect that at all going into it, but yeah, that was nice. It was, in, like, the fight for the overall, I was against this girl, Courtney, and she looked really good, too. She won the posing award, so, like, we were on stage for, like, it was like almost 10 minutes of us posing on stage, going back and forth, like turning around, and we were all like dying, like our lower back were like they were burning, and it was just like so painful. But anyways, like everyone looked really good. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, so now I have a giant trophy.
It's cool, right? Like you're like, man, I freaking earned that.
Yeah, well, it's a crazy feeling because I went into it like, who knows? Like we'll see. Like I don't know. I didn't. It's like almost. It feels like I'm not like qualified for it, kind of, because it was like my first year, and I'm like, well, months ago I just kind of jumped into this as like a random hobby, and now I'm winning, and I'm like, really, me? Okay.
Yeah.
But so.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that, right? Like, you know, for someone in their first year to kind of go through the whole thing, right? Like you came in, you did okay, you're like, well, whatever. Then you came in again, and then you're like, won the class, and then that third time, you're like, all right, take the whole thing. So that's cool. You did, like, the whole spectrum in, like,
I kind of just went up, which is nice. But, yeah, so, and then now, well, I'm doing a natural national show in the end of July. Are you doing that one? Or are you doing a different one?
Of course I am.
Yeah, you are? Okay, let's see there. But, yeah, so we've still got, like, just under 30 weeks left, so I'm just like coasting right now, but yeah.
That's cool. I'm gonna write that down. Okay, so talk to me then now where we're at. So your Legends Cup would have been, what is that, like
end of August,
6, 7 months ago?
It's been a while, yeah.
So
like 19 weeks, I think.
Where are you at with that now? Like what's been kind of the off-season focus and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I'm really trying to develop my legs. My upper body is like a lot more developed, I think. Just genetically, it's easy for me to put mass on, like my shoulders and back.
Yep.
So, like, I'm still trying to build them because like, you want to be like proportionate, but my lower body, like my hamstrings and glutes, need a lot of work. So I'm doing legs a lot, trying to put in like a lot of volume and like actually gain strength.
Yeah.
Which I used to do like probably like 2 years, actually like a year ago before I started competing, but I would kind of frame my workouts around, like, it would be like a power lifter type workout. Like, it would be almost all, like, either deadlifts or squats or, like, pressing or benching. Like, I didn't, and then, like, accessory stuff after that. But it was basically, like, I was, like, trying to hit numbers.
Yep.
And then I started training for, like, bodybuilding, so it's all just aesthetic focused.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go as heavy, and it didn't feel as satisfying. So now I'm actually trying to hit numbers. And I'm like, this is, like, with an intent. I'm not just trying to get strong.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, like, increase that volume. But it feels really good to be like, oh, I'm actually strong. I can actually, like, I'm functional now, which is great.
Yeah, like
but,
that. Like, honestly, like, that's something that I think a lot of competitors lose sight in and lose focus in. Is, like, remember when you went to the gym and you, like, actually progressed?
Yeah, and you could, like,
doing stuff
write it down, and you could see, like, you could chart it out and see the chart go up, like.
In a book? Remember these things?
Yeah, there you go.
Right? Like, it's, you know, I read this this post by, I don't know, some, like, natural, like, pro that I follow, and he's like, you know, training is still the meat and potatoes of this whole thing, but it seems to be the part that a lot of people neglect, right? Everybody's, like, so focused on diet and the cardio and the supplements, and it's like, okay, like, the training's what's going to develop your body, right? So people seem to forget that.
I think that's where a lot of people, well, especially girls, like, I don't want to, like, shout out girls here or whatever, but
you're a girl, so you're allowed to.
I mean, but no, like, because we're not, like, we don't want to get, like, huge or bulky or whatever, people will be like, oh, I don't want to go too heavy, like, I just want to, like, get that pump, I want to chase, like, that, like, the blood flow, but I don't want to get, like, I don't want to, like, overdo it and be, like, grunting in the gym or whatever, but, like, you know, but, like, eventually, like, progressive overload is huge, like, that is huge, and if you're not doing that, then, like, you're missing out on so much, and,
hear that,
like,
ladies? It's coming from her, so you can't get mad at me.
Look it up. But I literally have, like, a giant spreadsheet, and I track every workout, and I, like, calculate the volume of each muscle group each week, and I chart it, and I make sure the line's going up every week. And
but man, when you step on stage at nationals, though, like, I'll clip this when you step on stage at nationals, and we'll put a side by side and be like, this is how she grew, right?
Yeah,
and throw your chart up there, because that's exactly it, right? Like, at the end of the day, it's a muscle contest, and people forget that.
Yeah,
right? And, like, how do you build?
Be as skinny as you want, but, like, you have to have something under there. You have to have that definition. You have to have a foundation, and the foundation is built when you're chubby and when you're, like, fluffy and you don't look that good. Like, you're supposed to have that, like, I don't know, that period of time where you don't, like, you want to wear a full shirt in the gym. I'm not going to wear a sports bra all the time.
That's a good segue. So let's talk about the off season and, you know, this idea of, like, yes, you are not going to look shredded, and, you know, you might be a little uncomfortable in your own skin for a little bit. Like talk to me about that from your perspective, like, as a female competitor.
Okay. For me, I want to talk about, first I'm going to talk about, like, a general thing with a lot of girls, because I think I kind of stand alone in a certain thing, but okay, a lot of people, when they get off of prep, they go from being really lean, like, really, really conditioned, and they love how they look, and then they start eating more, and they hold water, and they're used to seeing a six-pack and, like, veins popping out, so they think any weight gain is, like, awful. They think they're fat. You add a little bit of fat to your face. Like, I know that you add a little fat to your face and you hate what you look like in the mirror. And then people, like, I feel like people get, like, eating disorders or, like, body dysmorphia from, like, in that, like, 2 to 3, 4 week period right after a show. And then it is. It's more of a mental game than it is a physical one, because, yes, your body, like, once you start eating, you're, like, your, like, hunger hormone. So, like, what is it, ghrelin or whatever? I don't know. It starts, your hunger hormones start growing up as soon as you start, like, eating more, right? So then you're more hungry, and you just want to eat more, and it's like a cycle. And then you have, like, that you have to exercise so much self-control, and you don't have a deadline that you're going for, so you don't really have a reason to like slowly reverse diet. So that kind of like messes with people's heads, and like
for sure
they don't have like that like concentration or focus anymore. But like realistically, you should be listening to your body. If you feel like, yes, you should be following your reverse diet, like that's really important in keeping like fat, like you don't want to like gain a huge amount of fat right away, because that does mess with like your metabolism's really low. You're fine. Your metabolism just sucks at that point. So it's like, I don't know, you have to be careful, but at the same time, like, you don't make yourself more unhealthy, especially mentally, because like it has to be enjoyable too, and you have to like enjoy the gym and stuff like that. And if you feel like you're still restricted for like months when you're not in prep anymore, that's not healthy.
No,
but
I agree with you. Like there's a very strategic approach that can be taken, but it could also be too overthought, right? Like, you know, someone could just be watching the scale and they're like, okay, I'm only going to go up like half a pound a week. And it's like, okay, it's going to take you 3 months to feel okay again.
Exactly.
And it's going to take you 10 months to feel good again, right? Like, you know, the biggest thing after a show, the biggest thing after is getting like healthy again and feeling normal, like relatively quickly.
Yeah. It's so helpful to have a coach with you for that. A lot of people just hire their coach for like 16, 12 weeks or whatever for their prep, and then they drop them as soon as they're done. And it's like, no, you need someone who will be objective with you, hold you somewhat accountable, and like help you with that, because you have to have a plan going into it. And if you don't, like, it's kind of a free-for-all. But I guess I have some pointers. It'd be like, after your prep, I'd say after your competition, some days of like freedom, like eat whatever you've been craving for so long. But like after that, like the next week, prep all your food. Don't keep like bingy food in your house. Don't do what I did and go buy a giant Costco tub of peanut butter right after your competition, because you will finish it in a week. But and then like have a plan, have your coach, like talk to them, like they're there for that accountability. You don't have to just only talk to them the one day a week that you're checking in. Like you have a person who you can go to that you're paying, like this is what they're supposed to be doing, so they should be helping you through this. And then also don't overcompensate with cardio. So like if you do have like 3 cookies or something, that's fine, you enjoyed it. Don't go do 2 hours of cardio. You don't need to do that. You're just messing up your metabolism more.
Exactly.
But, for myself, though, so I did deal with that a little bit my first, like, 2 weeks after my competition. Like, I actually have looked back in my, like, old, like, prep files and whatever, and I remember this one check-in, I'm like, I sent it to Tyler, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, this is so disappointing. I'm like, I can't believe I have to send you this right now. It's like shocking. And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, he's like, you look fine. Now I look back and I'm like, damn, like I wish. But so those first 2 weeks were a little bit hard, but I actually kind of had like from I guess like September until like the end of or like mid-November, I was kind of just like having like a stressful point in my life, and then because of cortisol, like your stress hormone, it will really affect your appetite. So I have not, like, I've been having a really, really hard time actually gaining weight myself, which, like, I want to gain weight right now. I want to gain weight, like, build my muscles. But, like, and, like, Tyler will give me my food, like, or my macros and whatever, and I'll, like, try so hard to hit them, but I'll literally be, like, by the end of the day, trying to get my food, and I'm, like, nauseous just eating. So, like, I don't know. At this point, though, like, I'm actually getting a lot better, so, like, things are turning around. I might grow. But
you got lots of time still.
Yeah, like, I feel like every body kind of has, like there's a natural level of your appetite, and then once you try and go over that, your body's like, no, you're fine, like, just relax, and it's hard to, like, train yourself to eat that much. So I think it just took a little extra time, and I should be fine.
Yeah, like it's definitely extreme on both sides, and that's something that until you've had like that experience in the off season, like this was my, the off season I got the heaviest. Like before Coburg, when we did that show, I started prep like 178, and this off season I got up to 192. So
yeah, like you're almost
that was a lot, and that was like force feeding.
Look at the progress.
Yeah, like I'm more than happy with the progress, but like same as you, right? Like your body's kind of got a set point when it comes to hunger levels and all that stuff, and like you said, like at the end of the day, you're just like eating, and you're like, oh, I don't want anymore.
It's not even fun anymore.
No.
You're like, I know I'm gonna hate myself when I'm in prep, and I'm like, why didn't I enjoy that bagel back then?
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm like, fuck. So.
We can't win either way. It's brutal. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 questions.
Lay them on me.
Okay. First one, what would you tell women that are afraid to lift but still want to get in shape? I assume from like a physique standpoint, so let's, ignore the fact that like if someone just wants to like lose weight or whatever, like say someone wants to get like that fit, athletic body and they're like scared of weights. What do you tell them?
Okay, It depends if you're scared of lifting itself or if you're afraid of the gym. So, like, if you're afraid of the gym, I'd say, like, because it can be very, like, intimidating. There's a lot of, like, people there who they know what they're doing. It's like you don't want to be in someone's way. You don't want people to look at you. There are a lot of gyms that have a girl section. So the Good Life that I go to has a woman's only section, which is helpful.
For sure.
Also, like, either go early in the morning or late at night because there's not a lot of people there. Or, like, go with a friend. Just go with someone you know. Like, that makes it a lot easier. You have someone to, like, talk to when, like, between sets and whatever. So you're not awkwardly staring in the mirror or whatever. If you're afraid of lifting, I know a lot of people, including my mom, and I'm trying to convince her not to, are afraid of lifting because they think they're going to get so bulky. And what they need to know is, like, it's a very, very slow process. Like, people who want to put on muscle have a hard time putting on muscle.
Right.
If you don't want to get bulky, you're not going to get bulky. Like, it's a very intentional thing to look like that. And you're in full control of how much muscle that you put on. So if you start to become more muscular than you want to be, you can just slow it down.
Share your secrets with us.
Yeah, like...
If you figure something out, let us know.
Yeah, like, I would love to know if you're putting on so much muscle.
Yeah, legit.
But, and then, like, tone it back on the cardio, too. Because, like, if you start your workout and do an hour of cardio and then go train and then come and do more cardio, it's, like, a lot of your energy is just going towards, like, this, like, it's just going away. Like, your carbs and whatever that you ate before, you're just getting rid of that, all the glycogen. Like, you don't have a pump. You don't have anything going to your muscles. Your body can't even repair it after because you're just, like, depleted.
Yep.
So, yeah, if you're trying to train and you're bringing that into your lifestyle without changing anything else in your lifestyle, drop the cardio because you're burning calories, and you're burning calories at rest, too, if you have more muscle. So, yeah.
Cool. All right. Next one. This is one that you sent me, and I just wrote bikini hacks ... boobs ? So whatever that meant on your end, you can enlighten us.
I sent you a screenshot of my conversation with my friend Haley, and we were talking about girls who are on the itty bitty titty committee.
Okay.
If you have, especially when you're dieting, when you're really, really thin, you lose fat everywhere. Like, so, and then part of, like, I know it's not, like, necessarily, like, the criteria of bikini to have boobs, but, like, you have to just look proportional and balanced and this shape.
Yep.
So we were talking about ways to, like, stuff your bra. And she was telling me that she put pillow fluff in it. Like, she literally opened up a pillow and then added that into her bra.
Nice.
And I told her that I put socks in my bra. You just squish them to the side.
You can't
But-
see it, like when you do like a turn.
No, because there's like in a bikini, like in the like stage bikinis. I don't know about like swimsuits, but like they have a section that you can put padding in.
Oh, okay.
Basically, like normally it's just padding to like keep it somewhat stiff, but like
Yeah.
you can add a little extra in there to give you a little push. But we were also talking, okay, like there's a lot of other, I guess, hacks for show day that I guess I could mention.
Yeah. Sure.
For girls, another like TMI item is, actually you probably know this because of your fiance. It's like for peeing, you can't pee
Can't
if
do
you're
it.
you can't freely pee if you have a tan on.
Hey,
So
it's hard for guys too. It's a pain in the ass.
okay, you have like the system for it, but on Amazon there's this thing called like Pee Easy, and it's like a funnel.
Nice.
Because bikini people and figure people always take like a Dixie cup and cut a hole in the bottom and like try and do that to block it out, but like it's just
It's not
I don't
easy.
know, it's just messy. And what else? Another hack is you don't want to. Okay, when you're on stage, you don't want to stop smiling. So like
Yes.
a lot of people, they'll be smiling for the front pose, turn around, and then you're like sticking your butt out, you're serious, you're thinking about it, so you stop smiling, then you turn back around and you have a straight face. If you put Vaseline on your teeth, you won't want to close your mouth, so you'll keep smiling the whole time. I don't remember who told me that, but it works.
Tricks of the trade. Whatever works, right? Sweet.
Can't think of any others right now.
Next one. This was one that everybody wanted to know about. Struggles you had on prep, mentally, physically, emotionally, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to
got
hear the
a lot of-
hardships.
Like, everyone wants to know how much I struggled.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, so I guess there's mental and physical. So like mentally it's almost worse because of like the body dysmorphia. That sounds so serious when I say like I don't know. It's not like awful, but it's like you never feel like you're lean enough because that's like the goal that you're trying to get to. You're like cut off fat, and then like every day you're like it's not enough.
Yeah.
But that's why you have a coach. Accountability, they're objective. I guess also like obsessive behavior. So like you'll freak out if like I would like pour oatmeal in a bowl and then it would be like 31 grams and I'm like trying to like pick out grains of oats. I'm like no like or like I would like eat all my food and then somehow like drop my plate and a broccoli fell on the ground and I'm like no, what am I gonna do? Like just certain things like that. It's like you form this relationship with food that is not necessarily healthy.
No.
But it's a short period of time. Competing isn't healthy. It's not meant to be. People shouldn't say that it is because it's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess also guilt surrounding food or surrounding cardio or like I work 9 hours a day in an office and I'm sitting all day. So, like, I would feel guilty for, like, not doing activity when I was in prep. Like, I would bring, like, my booty band to my desk and be doing, like, abductors.
Nice.
Like, I'm like, I have to be doing something right now. Like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then also, like, guilt around food. So, like, if I would have a cheat meal, like, Tyler would give me a cheat meal, and then I would still feel bad. I'm like, well, maybe I should have just gotten like a smaller thing. Like, I don't know if I should have fries with this, like just little things like that.
Sure.
And then also like the compulsion to binge. So like by the end of prep, I was like, actually like when I was done my competition at Coburg, when I drove home the next morning, I had peanut butter and rice cakes just for the day, like just for pumping up and whatever backstage.
Yeah.
I ate I ate like 12 rice cakes with peanut butter on my drive home. And I'm like, why am I binging on diet food? And like, I'm like, why do I even want this? I can eat whatever I want, but for some reason I'm binging on rice cakes. And like, I don't know, it is a mental thing, because like, I have like 4 packs of rice cakes that have been in my cupboard right now for like 2 months, and I'm off season, so I don't want them. But like, at that point, yeah.
All right, next one. Someone asked your thoughts on the current landscape of competitors from a skill perspective, right? So how like the quality of the competitors is, the reasons and mentality behind competing in this kind of day and age, and your just general thoughts on that.
Okay. First of all, I've only been in this industry for like a year, so I'm not the expert here. I'm just going to say that. But I'm very close with Tyler, who is. So I'm going to repeat a lot of what he said, but I'll also say like what I've noticed also about fellow competitors. So I think that it's kind of a sliding scale. So I think there's people, like how I explained myself, who have been training for a long time, and then this is like the logical next step, I guess. They're like, oh, well, like, this industry is surrounded by people who enjoy training. Like, I'm muscular already. Like, I can do this. It's something I could get into.
Yep.
But then there's also people who, they really like the idea of the femininity and, like, the stage presence and the pageantry of it.
Sure.
And there is a space for both types of people in the industry. Like, at the end of the day, like, on the competition day, you're both on the same stage. You're both doing the same thing. Like, you both got there. But I think people who enjoy, like, the process, like, if you just enjoy working out and then you get into you get into competing, you might stick with it longer.
Yep. Because
you're not just there for the day of the competition.
Sure.
Like, that's not the only part that you like.
Yep.
In terms of skill, I don't know, like, do you mean, like your stage presence?
Just like, I don't know. Like, I would assume maybe just, like, the overall quality from an athlete's perspective, right? Like, I'll give you an example for bodybuilding. Like, from my perspective in the 5+ years now that I'm competing, like, say I've been on stage with 30 guys, right? I would say, like, less than 10 of them have been, like, really good. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, from a general, like, bodybuilding, we're dying breed anyways. But, like, it just, like, in Canada, like, there's very few that are overly impressive, in my opinion, right? Like, especially in the natural stream, right? We're even less. Right?
Yeah. Well, it's hard in bodybuilding to be super impressive if you're natural.
Yeah.
Which, like, props to you. But, I'd say, I think it's getting better. I think there's a lot more people in it, just overall, if you look at the last, like, 5-10 years, it's huge. It's like a huge, like, increase in people. Like, it became so popular. I think because of Instagram. Like, I honestly think that has a lot to do with it. But, yeah, I don't know. In terms of, like, on stage, I think people are getting better with, like, posing and stuff like that, because I've watched some, like, old videos, and people would basically do front pose, turn around, back pose, and then wave and walk off the stage, like,
right.
Because there wasn't, like, a specific thing that you should follow, like, there wasn't, like, certain transitions that people, like, became used to and, like, actually looked good.
Yeah.
But now, like, a lot of, like, there's really good posing coaches, and I am working with Tyler to, like, try and teach some people, and I don't want to take credit for that, because I'm literally teaching, like, beginners. Like, I'm teaching them because I've practiced it, and I know the poses, and I know the transitions. I'm in no way an expert, but, like, if you look at, like, Team Atlas has Angeline, Hammer has, like, Jen and Gabby, and they're, like, brilliant with it. Like, their clients have, like, you can see them, and you know what team they're on just from looking at their posing. So, like, certain things like that, like, the quality shows on stage just because, like, you know that they're putting in the work, and they didn't just do what I did in my first competition, which is learning the posing, like, 2 weeks out, and you're like, I guess I'll do this. Like,
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, like, that I think has a lot to do with like the skill and like how you actually come across on stage, because you are judged on your stage presence. Like
sure.
you can look really good, but if you can't move, then like if you're tripping in your heels, like you're not going to get judged well.
Yeah, that's the thing too, right? Like as much as there's your posing and stuff like that. Like both bikini and I'd say men's physique, there is an influence in how you move on stage, right? Like in bodybuilding, like I could flex, drop, turn around, flex. Like it's probably not going to hurt me. I don't do that. I think there is some flow that can be had in bodybuilding, but I think how much it matters to bodybuilding versus bikini is huge in the difference, right? Like in bikini, you're right. Like you have to be able to walk and you got to be able to flick your hair the right way and all that stuff, right?
It's about being feminine. So if you come across really awkward, or like if you hold your body in a way that looks like more masculine or looks like you're uncomfortable, like you want to look like you're having a good time up there. Like you don't want to look like you hate your life. So it makes a difference.
For sure. Cool. This is a good one. Your mindset now versus when you first started competing.
In general, or like around competing?
Let's go just around competing. So like your attitude going into the first show versus your attitude going into nationals.
Okay, that's very they're like stark opposites. Going into my first show, I was like, sure, let's do it. Like I had only ever even watched one other show in person. I like YouTubed a few, and I'm like, cool, that's what happens. Like I don't know, but like I didn't even know like how comparisons worked. I didn't know like what the difference was between prejudging and finals. I'm like, wait, so one of them you do something and the other one you get a medal? Like I don't know. I just kind of like, when I was backstage, I was just like relaxing. I was just like hanging out, like meeting people. Like it was like a social gathering. I don't know. I didn't go there looking for first place, and I didn't expect that of myself. Because like it's not that I thought like I was shit, but I was like, I know there is a lot, like there's people here who have been doing it for years, or people here who wanted it more than I did. I was like, this is just something I'm new at, whatever. Whereas now, like, this is the only thing I'm focusing on. Like, of course, I'm like hanging, like I have a social life, like I'm whatever, but every single day I'm thinking about this and what will get me to that point where I'm like placing nationals. Like I want to win.
No, that's huge, and I think that there's a lot of value in how you kind of stated that. Like, I have a lot of people in Coburg myself that are first timers. In fact, most of them are, and it's having that conversation of like, okay, you guys need to understand that you could be standing beside somebody on stage that this is their 10th show, and they've been training for years and years and years. So you can't expect necessarily to walk away with a win or a top 3 or whatever.
Be realistic. Your girls look really good though. I have to say, like it's like high caliber.
It's coming. I'm super and like I'm so proud of the effort they all put into it, and like it's gonna be super cool. And it's just having that conversation of like, okay, like for all you guys that are competing for the first time, like just the fact that you're gonna get there, like be proud of that, right? Like the effort you're gonna put in. Like 20, 18, however many weeks that they'll be going for, of like focus and discipline and following it and training and eating, like that you can't knock that, whether you come 1st or 5th or 4th or 12th, whatever. Like you still busted your ass to get there.
Exactly. Like I think the difference this time around is I'm like more focused right now, over half a year out. Like it's 30 weeks or something like that before my show. I'm more focused right now than I was probably at like 6 weeks out of my first show. Like I'm like I am in it. Versus then I was like, maybe I'll do it. Like I don't know. Like who knows if I'll be lean enough. Like I just like I feel good about it. So.
Yeah, and that comes with experience and also like getting an understanding of what you want out of it, right? Like your first show, like you said, you're just like, I'm just gonna go and try it and have fun, and whatever happens happens. Whereas like now, you've matured as an athlete and you got goals now, right? Like you're like, okay, I want to do some damage.
I've seen what I want to like reach. Like at that point I didn't even know what a bikini girl was supposed to look like. Like I didn't know what body parts I had to work on. I didn't know where I was lacking. Now I like have very specific things I have to work on. Like I have a look that I'm trying to achieve.
Yep.
So it's more like laid out. I have a plan.
Sweet. Awesome. We kind of touched on that, so I won't ask that one. What's your favorite part of the off season? That was one.
I guess like having a social life. Because in prep, like you can't, not that you can't do anything, but you're really tired. You have a lot of cardio, so you're at the gym for like 3 hours a day. Unless you're one of those very lucky people who has to do like 20 minutes of cardio, like for you, but you don't have a lot of time, like when you're on prep. But right now, I'm like, I prep some of my meals. I can eat out if I want to. I can go out. I can hang out with my friends.
Yep.
I can go to a restaurant and there's stuff on the menu that I can eat, and that's like fine. But on prep, like you go and you have a glass of water, and like also you're too tired on prep to do anything.
Yeah.
But now, it's nice.
Cool. Next one was, how low have your macros been? Like the lowest they ever got?
I don't know if I should even say that. Like, okay, well, I have never. Okay. Don't do this. Okay.
Forewarning everybody, this is an extreme sport, requires extreme things. Don't do this.
Don't do this, and you won't look the way that bikini competitors look if you eat this way. That's not how it works. It has to be very, very structured, and like this doesn't work for people who haven't like trained their metabolism to get to this point. For 1 week, I was at around 900 calories, only protein and vegetables.
Yep.
And 3 hours of cardio.
A day?
Yeah. That was the week before Legends Cup.
That was the grind. That was the grind week.
That was the grind. That was rough. But, like, I know some people, not under my coach, but some people who have been, like, who will do that starting at, like, 8 weeks out.
Yeah.
If your coach, not you, if just audience, if your coach puts you on, like, suddenly drops your calories by, like, 800 and then suddenly, like, increases your cardio by 2 hours or something, they're not, this isn't for your body, unless it's like a specific thing to get over a plateau. They're not paying attention to your body. They're just doing it because they want, like, they just know, like, if I drop this, you'll lose weight. But you have nowhere to go after that.
Yep.
If your calories are at 1,200 and you're 8 weeks out, how low are you going to be when you're, like, close to show day? You can't keep dropping it at that point. Like, it's not healthy. So
yeah, it's a fine line, right? Like, everybody's different, and sometimes you got to do stuff like that. Like, I remember, like, for me, like, I got down to, like, 1,400 last time, which is, you know, like, for a girl, right? For a girl hearing that, they seem like, they might say, like, oh, 1,400 is not that bad. But I'm like, you got to remember, I started around 3,000, right? So that's less than half, right? So if you say you start a prep at, like, 1,600, right? You go less than half, like, that'd be like you eating, like, 650 a day, right? Yeah. So it's like, and I did that, I think, kind of similar to you last week and a half, but, like, it got me in condition, but it hurt.
It works, but it doesn't work if you do it for longer than, like, that little period of time, right? Like, your body will become, like, it'll adjust to that, and then you have nowhere to go. So, don't,
Yeah. Time and place.
Exactly.
Next one is, who are a couple positive role models that you have in this industry?
Let me think. Like, people I know, or people that, like, I look up to?
Either way. You don't have to know them personally. Most of the people I look up to don't even know who I am, so.
True. That's true. Let me think. Okay, it's weird, but Tyler, even though he has nothing to do with, like, I obviously don't want to look like him, but he, like, taught me everything about the industry. Imagine. He taught me everything about the industry and, like, explained, like, as I'm going through prep, he's explaining why he's doing everything, so now I actually get the signs and I get why I'm doing this, and I know my intention.
Yeah.
So that's nice. And Julia Schroeder, do you know? She's from St. Catharines.
Yeah.
I was seeing her at Good Life. Like, I see her at my gym, and I'm like, ooh. but yeah, she looked like and I actually came to watch her, like, pro show in Niagara.
Yeah.
It, like, really, really well, and, like, it's not, like, a starstruck feeling, but it's, like, when you see actual pros on stage, you're like, whoa, like, you're, like, perfection.
Yeah.
It's just, like, it's just, I don't know, it's, like, a different feeling, and you're, like, that's what I want to look like. Not, like, that exact thing, but, like, because I have my own body frame or whatever,
yeah.
But it's, like, for you to put in that work and to get to that point, like, it's just really, really impressive.
For sure.
So, yeah. And Jen from Hammer Fitness, Tiny Fit Gem on Instagram,
Yeah.
she is their posing coach right now, but she did really well at Nationals last year, and, like, because Hammer and Tyler are, like, good friends, and, like, he's his coach.
Yeah.
So, like, we go to Hammer Fitness a lot, and, like, just, like, see her there. And, yeah, she's inspiring too. But.
Sweet. What has bodybuilding taught you?
Oh, it's really big.
Let's be super like philosophical about it and say, like, what has taught you about life versus, like, what has taught you about nutrition.
Oh, okay. I can do both. I guess for life, it's, like, being, like, dedicated to something, choosing what I want to do, and then just going all in.
Yep.
Like, you can't half-ass anything. So, like, whether that be, like, now I have that kind of mindset for work or for, like, a friendship. You can't just be like, sometimes I'm friends with you, sometimes I'm not. Like, if you choose something, you just follow through. For nutrition and stuff, like, I was already, like, really into, like, I already tracked my macros for, like, years before this. Like, I have always, like, tracked my training and stuff like that. So, like, mostly what bodybuilding has taught me is about bodybuilding. Like, it's just the industry that I've learned about.
Yeah.
Posing.
Yeah.
I was the least grateful person before this. So I guess that. But, yeah.
Awesome. Last one, and it's a doozy. What's your end goal in competing?
Oh. To go to Olympia?
Yeah? Like,
I sounded, like, very hesitant, but to go to Olympia, I want to go to the Olympia stage.
That's awesome.
I would love to become a pro in the next couple of years. Like,
how old are you? I don't even know how old you are.
Oh, 24.
Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's realistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, like, in the next 2 years, I'd like to be pro. Olympia, like, that's just, there's a lot of really, really, really impressive people out there, but eventually that's the stage I want to be on.
That's sick.
You too? Or?
I don't know if I'm Olympia. Let's just say my current status doesn't get me there.
That's fair.
And I accept that.
Well, same. But, like, I'm gonna try.
I think, honestly, like, a very open, candid conversation about being natural versus being enhanced. Like, as a bodybuilder, my likelihood of getting there naturally versus as a bikini competitor is definitely very different, right? Like, I actually had this conversation with a guy that I'm coaching, and he's, like, young and he's new, and he didn't know that there was, like, a 212 class in bodybuilding and then, like, the open.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, you got to remember, like, if I, like, say, hypothetically speaking, I go to the Nationals and get a pro card. Like, then I'm against guys that are 212, and I'm 150 pounds. Like, sick.
Yeah, and it's, like, in order to even grow so that you're competitive, that would take you, like, years and years and years. And they have those years, too, that they can improve. Yeah. Like, you're always behind, which is frustrating. But don't do anything that you don't want to do just to become, like, like, have your values. Yeah, just
no, and that's why I'm, like I go to the States to compete, because there's like the Natural Federation through there. So
yeah. You did Rochester last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going, my first one's May 30th in Utica, I think. Like, it's just across the border. So I can actually turn pro down there.
Do it.
Yeah. You heard it
then you won't
first.
have to go to my show.
What's that?
Then you won't even have to go to national or natural one.
Oh, I'll still do it.
Yeah.
Last one, extra last one. This one's for me. 2 or 3 pieces of advice to new competitors, and let's specifically talk bikini because a lot of my girls are brand new.
Okay. Have a coach. Have a good coach and do your research on the coach. Mm-hmm. Like, don't just choose a random person or don't choose just someone who's your friend, because they won't necessarily be objective with you, because like either they'll feel bad and they won't want to make you do the work, or like they are in it for the wrong reasons, or like whatever. Yep. Choose a coach that has a reputation and experience and like you've seen their work and they're good. Commit to only that, I guess. Like, number 2, like if you're doing it, don't be on the fence. Like, if you decide you're going to compete, make the decision, stick with it. Yeah. Like, buy your suit, buy your shoes. Like, it's weird, but when you make the financial investment, you're more likely to stick with it. Yeah. So yeah, if you're on the fence, even if you're on the fence and you're still prepping, you're not going to put 100% in if you don't know for sure if you want to do it. Yeah. Just commit 100%. What else? I guess talk to other people who are bikini competitors. Like, once I started talking to other competitors, just on Instagram and stuff like that, I became so much more involved with it. I'm like, oh, this is actually fun. There's a whole community around this. Yeah. Like, other people are going through what I'm going through. Not, like, you can kind of, like, commiserate with them. You're like, oh, you're on cardio right now. I am too, so am I. Like, like, it's like a weird little, like, family that, like, you can talk to your regular friends about it, but they might not understand why you are eating tilapia and asparagus every day. Like, they don't get it, or they'll make fun of you, like, jokingly, but, like, still. But yeah, so make friends, commit, hire a coach, a good coach. But yeah.
Right on. All right, dude. Well, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So all of her Instagram and everything will be linked down below, so give her a follow, and stay tuned for that prep for nationals. When's the start date for you, tentatively?
I actually don't know when I'm starting prep. Like, ask Tyler. Like,
when you're told to.
But yeah, it depends if I gain enough. Like, it depends how much weight I gain before I start cutting. So we'll see.
Fair enough.
But
cool.
Probably like 16 weeks out.
Yep, something like that. Okay. All right. Well, you have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
It's 8:11, which is basically bedtime. So.
Yeah, actually though.
Bodybuilder life.
Actually.
All right. Well, like I said, thank you again for doing this, and we'll definitely hit this up again sometime soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.